is up? It's Eli Knight with Knight Jiu-Jitsu. I'm here with Jared Jessup from IQ Jiu-Jitsu, and we're going to show some questions about north-south position. So sometimes people get north-south position, and it's a really strong controlling position, and it feels really comfortable, but then it's kind of like you're the dog chasing the car, and then you get there and you don't know, it's like, oh, now what do I do here? And then you wind up going back to side control or something else. But there's a lot of good submissions from there, and on the flip side, sometimes it's a really hard position to escape. So I thought maybe the format that would be good for this video is like, I'll show a submission, he'll show a submission, I'll show an escape, he shows an escape. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay, so first one that I like a whole lot, if I can get to it, it's because it's really solid control and I have a minute to kind of fumble with it a little bit. So somehow I wind up getting into north-south position. This may have been some kind of transition, lots of different ways we can get here. But just for the fact that I got here, I could be underneath both of his arms, I could be over both of his arms, or some combination of the two. Now, whenever I do this, I want to get on the side of his head so he can't turn his face to me. So I'm gonna drop my ribs and belly right there beside him. I'm gonna keep my head down. I want this arm here to start sliding right underneath that occipital bone, that little ridge on the back of his head here. And once I get there, now, this is where a lot of people mess up. I think they concentrate so much here that he starts to turn his face toward me, and then now I'm just kind of smashing his face and not getting a clean choke. I think it's really important to keep the space here so that it keeps his face turned away. And as I insert this, I'm also pushing his face more into my arm like that. Now here's another tip here. I'm gonna slide back a little bit so I can feel my elbow getting in deeper on his neck, also pushing his chin up if he's trying to tuck his chin. Now whenever I get to here, the big key to actually finishing this, is gonna be this hand over here. Once I get there and I'm gonna keep my face turned this direction, I'm gonna grab my hands, and this is what you can't really see. I'm gonna start to cup my hands. If I just try to squeeze here, you'll notice like some space stays there. I don't have the biceps to quite get that done. But whenever we get here, this is a way I can cheat it. I'm gonna slide like this. And what that's doing is raising this forearm up, and it's gonna tighten that choke, that last little bit that I need here. So I get here, I push my body to the side, I walk my hands in, and it's already getting very tight there on his neck. So I'm putting all that almost like a guillotine choke.
One of the things I'm feeling here is as the pressure increases, the weight's sliding off the chest and it's all going on the neck. So there's no pressure on my chest or jaw or any of that. It's all on my neck. So
I think a frustration sometimes when people get here is that they leave too much weight forward onto the chest, and then they're just kind of cranking on the neck. I've been in that situation a lot before. It sucks, it's uncomfortable, and it's frustrating, but I'm not gonna tap to it because I don't feel like he's gonna break my neck, and I know he's not choking me. So I'll sit there and fight for a little while. Eventually he'll give up, he's probably tired, and then I can escape the position easier. So what about another submission option for me?
yeah, so let's look at from sitting your back. So just kind of a basic arm bar from the north-south position. Now, one of the indicators for me to go for this is that maybe we can here in this north-south. A couple things I'm looking for. I want to make sure that his arm is in front of my arm, right? And if his arm's in front of my arm, I can go for this. And also that his elbow is kind of off the ground. My hand will kind of go by the hip. I'll start walking my hips around. And as I walk around, I'm gonna go palm up and I'm gonna cut deep in the V. Turn this way, sorry. So I'm gonna go palm up and my forearm cuts deep in the V right here, okay? Now my shoulder kind of rolls forward until a hand pops off right there. Now you notice how my hand slides from the hip back to the deepest kind of wedge right here. This hand deep in the armpit makes it hard for me to move back and forth. As I keep my palm cupped towards my chest, my shoulder is going to remain close to my knuckles. That makes it hard for me to rip the elbow back down to the ground. Okay. From here, my hand comes up. I use my thumb and when I make this grip, and I grab the wrist, and then my forearm sits in the V between his ear and his shoulder, right here. Now my hand comes down and I cup, right? I cup the wrist, and I use this to kind of elevate his elbow up some. I'm gonna step my foot over the face or the arm, whichever is easier, right? Now I step my knee up on the ribs and have a seat on the shoulder, sitting all the way back. If you notice, as I sit back, the way the forearm sits on my hip, it pries his arm free, making it difficult for him to hang on. Also, this grip coming through, elevating this triangle right here, like turning his elbow out, keeps his elbow away from the hip, which makes it more difficult for him to defend the situation. So I make the grip, I sit back and peel all the way free. Heels out, toes in, my heels are heavy, my shoulders are heavy, and I elevate the hips to finish the arm lock.
All right, so those are a couple of good options, pretty high percentage options if you know how to like isolate and control that position really good. But you need to know too, how to get out of that bottom position, and that can be kind of a pain in the butt whenever you get in that position to get out of it. So whenever I'm there, I don't want to let the guy, just like any other positional escape, I don't want to let the guy get so settled in and so like heavy and isolated in there that it's going to be too much work, and I'm going to have to expend too much energy. So I'd like to put as preventative of measures as possible in place as I can. So you notice like Jared was talking about, like, oh, like I don't want him getting under my elbows. I don't want him opening my wedges any more than possible. So I'm trying to keep those elbows kind of stapled down to the ground here like this. Now, this is even worse, I feel like, for me initially, whenever he gets under my armpits, because that's going to give him more ability to kind of funnel me up if I'm not careful. So what I can do from here is I can try to keep this here, and I can try to hold and hug his lats like this. If necessary, I'll try to go to his hips, but I don't want to extend my arms too much and open my armpits. So from here, I'm gonna do a combination of 3 different kind of movements. One is that I'm gonna bridge here like this, and then I'm gonna like try to scoop here. I bridge a little bit to make a little space. I'm gonna use my legs to kind of pop like this to make a little bit of space that direction. And now I'm a little looser from him, and I'm gonna use my legs and pendulum my legs back and forth this direction as I'm pushing. I might have to do this 2, 3, 4 times, but eventually here, if I make enough space, and then on the last one, I'm gonna use that to kind of turn, pivot, and maybe try to replace guard, butterfly guard, create a scramble of some kind, and get him off me off that north-south position. So one more time real quick. We're here like this, right? He's gotten under my arm, so this is a bad one here. So I'm gonna go here, hold the lats like this. I'm gonna start to kind of bridge a little bit to try to make a little space. Don't hang out there so you can hug my body, but pop a little bit like this, kick a little bit like this here, pendulum the legs here, and on the last pendulum through, look to turn, replace, close the areas that he could really use to get on top of me again.
So let's talk about if the arms are in the other position, where instead of being over arms, they're under, right here, right? Now, one of the things I'm gonna pay attention to is which side of my spine his weight's on, right? And as I go to pry his chin up, I'll feel his weight will be more on this side or this side of my spine, right? And whichever side of my spine his weight's on, then I'll kind of pendulum the opposite way. So right now his weight's more on this side, so I'm gonna swing my legs around and then start pulling my head out and shoot to slide the knees in right here to replace guard. Now, if he's, I'll use the same concept because it might be that his head's so tight I can't get the hands in, right, to pry the chin up or take the spine out of alignment. So if that's the case, I'll just get secured to whatever it is I can around his back. And I'm gonna use that grip, maybe it's his neck, maybe it's his armpit, but I'm gonna use that connection to start turning my shoulder inside the 5 points control. There's the head, shoulders, and hips. So I start to turn my shoulder in. I'll use my legs, again like a pendulum, and as I shift the weight down into my legs, it makes my shoulders light and lighter for a brief moment, right? As I go boom, you see my shoulder get just ever so slightly lighter. And that allows me a space to be able to turn on my side. So I'm right here, boom, and I pivot. As I pivot, I turn my shoulder inside, so it kind of uproots him a little bit, that connection does. And that allows me the freedom to then start scooting out and getting my knees in. Boom, I can start blocking and getting my legs in for recovery.
All right, so there's lots of more opportunities for submission, for transitions, for positional security, all that stuff from north-south position, and probably a lot more escapes too. These are the ones that we probably use more than anything else.
Just a few snippets though.
Yeah, this is probably something that we probably use more than anything else, and this is done pretty good by us over the years. And so check them out, see what you think about them, let us know in the comments and all that stuff. And keep watching Night Jiu-Jitsu. Check out IQ Jiu-Jitsu. We're at
IQJujitsu.com. Also, we got a Facebook page, IQ Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, come check us out.
Cool. All right. And since we're talking about north-south, also check out North-South Jiu-Jitsu Underwear. It's the most comfortable underwear that you can wear. It's like a sports bra for your nether regions, and they make great rash guards and other materials too. So check them out, guys.
Full support.
Thanks, guys.